Okay. DGP 73 coming to you live from the bench. Top of the morning, Steven.
Howdy. What are we hitting you on? What is today? It's hump day. Classic hump day before work. And we have a special guest here today, Mr. Ron Reyes. How's it going?
Good morning. It is still very dark in the valley. It's pretty early, but so happy to be here. So happy to be talking some football with my boys.
Isn't it nice to have a soldier on the pod? 5 a.m. on the West Coast. A soldier. How about that?
I put on for my city.
No, it's good to have you, man. Obviously, there's been a lot happening since the last time we spoke. We had you on for the Man City preview, and then post-match, Steven and I. That was one of the days that we actually recorded like 2 hours after a game. That's how high the emotions were running. But we're happy you're here now, man. You can maybe catch up our listeners on how things have been going for Manchester City. But first, let me just share with everyone that the ladies of Arsenal absolutely smashed the North London Derby, had a 3-0 win, and I mean, they just keep rolling, man. They've scored like 12 goals in their last 3 games. Very impressive.
Shout out to the ladies. But I think also we got to give a shout out to the district ladies, right? Washington Spirit onto the final, onto the championship. KP and myself went to the semifinal match. I think it was last Saturday. Big win, man. 1-1. Had the equalizer in the 93rd minute. Went to PKs. Our girl saved the first 3 penalties. I mean, Washington, D.C., I think we're geared up for the final. It's in Kansas City, though, this Saturday.
I want to give a big shout out to number 19 on the Washington Spirit, dude. She was the only one from the beginning who looked like she understood the assignment. Today's a semifinal game. She was looking like Neymar out there at times, bro. I was very impressed with her performance, and I do really hope that they win. Also, a big shout out to the organizers. I mean, some of the fireworks that we had, you're right, the atmosphere at the very end. I took up a whole lot of smoke in the face from all the fireworks that had gone up. My throat was pretty itchy for the next day, but hey, those are just the things we're willing to sacrifice for the Spirit, man. Let's see. Speaking of more American soccer, it looks like the U.S. men's national team has been in action, and Poch is delivering, man. So I got to turn it over to Ron. As the sort of OG listeners know, he is our number 1 American fan. So how are you feeling about the performances, buddy?
I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, the first couple of performances, maybe not so great. I know that we lost to Mexico under Poch. That wasn't great. I mean, still getting the team's feet under them with the new manager. You know, actually trying to play real football for once, I think is probably an adjustment for them, you know, given that they were under Berhalter for so long. I love it. The boys look good. They're playing really well. Pulisic looks like he's playing really well under the new manager as well. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what it actually looks like in competition.
Yes, sir. I gotta ask. So I like watching the national team. I've always been a fan. I think Ron, you've kind of always been a fan. I still think there's like a je ne sais quoi missing from this team, from the U.S. team. I think what we're known for is kind of being that underdog character mentality. Kind of like all fight, all grit. Don't have the best players, but get results because we're willing to do the dirty things. But when we're playing teams like Jamaica that are worse than us, and we're expected to win, players like Tim Weah, Weston McKennie. I won't put Pulisic in there, but like Pepe. It seems like they don't have that dog in them. World Cup, 4 years. I know it's huge for the U.S. Like, it's going to be absolutely massive. Getting folks over to soccer, over to the brand. Do you think it's going to happen at all? I honestly have my doubts. I think this is a really good team, but they don't have that mentality to take it to the next level, in my opinion. Right now, as of right now, maybe Poch is going to do that. Maybe that's why they brought him in as manager. Do you see it differently?
For me, probably not. I don't think that they'll ever take that next step. I think that this under Poch, it'll be probably the closest that they'll be to that. I just don't think that the talent is really there at this moment in time. I don't think that, in comparison to world football, the talent is there, right? Like we're probably like a good, like mid-table side, you know, and I think that we can upset people. I don't think that we'll really get over the line actually in terms of, you know, winning something.
Yeah, that's kind of where I stand. I imagine someone like Tim Howard, Landon Donovan, they watch this team, Clint Dempsey, they watch this team. They're like, if I played on this squad, we would be incredible. Like we would have a potential to be dangerous, like a quarterfinal type team, World Cup. Whereas this team, I don't know, they're just missing that. They're missing something to me, and they need to have that underdog mentality. I just think they like, because they're playing Jamaica, Honduras, Mexico, Canada, they like to have we're the top dog on this field. I don't know if it's going to get them far, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're missing a defense. I would say they're missing a goalkeeper. It feels like so pretty critical pieces if you're going to make a run in a World Cup. I mean, they conceded 2 goals against Jamaica, I think, in their most recent matchup. So, I think they've been scored on quite often under Poch, which maybe that's expected. I don't know if that's the best thing for us or not. But we'll find out. I will tell you this: if the atmosphere of the games are anything like the Washington Spirit, I like our odds to get a W at home here. One of you has put a little question here on the doc about Pulisic and if we would take him if he was available. Tell me more.
Yeah, so I know we're gonna do a little summer reaction, possible January transfer stuff. So I was actually listening to it was a pod by Tim Howard, and he brought up, it was reports from like Spain or something. So like, you know how that happens. Reports just go out like crazy. Agents trying to put out people's names. But Pulisic, he's been tearing it up in Italy for AC Milan. He's actually tearing it up for the US squad. The report was, oh, he might be available in the summer, blah, blah, blah. I was like, left wing, like, would I do it? Would I take him? I don't think he would come at a huge premium, to be honest. Like, would you take him? And to be honest, I think I would take him. No lie. In the Arsenal squad, I would take Christian Pulisic. And of course, I ride for my boy, so that's that. But I wanted to throw it over to you guys. What do you think?
I don't think I would take him, only because it doesn't really fit the profile of a Pep player, to be honest. Plus, we have a couple of pretty good wingers right now on the left wing. I think Doku's probably better than Pulisic, at least long term. And then we have Grealish on the left side as well. It would be nice just to have him, just because, you know, I'd love an American on the team. I can't think of a single American that would make the City squad at this point. But it'd be nice if he was down to be a squad player. Sure, but that would also be kind of like a waste of his career. So I don't know. I don't know for me. What about you, Keon?
I mean, I'm looking at him. It says he's 26 years old, right? He had like 2-3 seasons at Chelsea. I think he did all right. My issue with him is maybe defensively, he can be a liability. I don't know if he would do the hard yards back. I don't know if he is the best solution for our left wing, Steven, because my problem with the left wing is consistency. And this is the first time that I feel like he's having a nice run. So, I mean, let's see how long it continues, but I don't know how often he would be able to put in those performances. Obviously, I hope he stays fit for the World Cup. I hope he shows out for the country. I actually saw, did he do the dance? I saw he did the dance after he scored, the infamous Trump dance that's been taking over. I'm just waiting for them to add it to FIFA at this point as a celebration.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. This is all hypothetical, of course, but I'm surprised Martinelli Hive coming out strong today. I'm surprised by that after all that beef from last week. Wow, Martinelli Hive coming out strong today. Things have changed. Okay.
Couple weeks of not having to see him, and you're like, oh, I miss him.
I don't know. I think I sounded my problem with it, right? My problem with Martinelli Hive is the consistency. But let me just say also welcome to anyone who's listening for the first time. These bench episodes are a little bit all over the place. We kind of just chat, the three of us, bring in our Manchester City supporter friend who also likes to talk football. So let's get into some of the summer business and the big sort of things that we want to preview ahead of January and sort of how feelings are. I think maybe a good place to start is that we don't have a sporting director. There's been a lot of links that have been going around. I actually saw, I think Manchester City's sporting director is also stepping down at the end of the season or something like that. So, but I'm also curious, Stephen, like, do you have a take on who should be the sporting director? I've been so shocked by the people who suddenly went from manager experts to sporting director experts.
I have zero takes. I mean, if you throw out a name like Billy Bean, you know, like maybe I'll take that. The baseball man. Like I honestly, as far as in Europe, have no clue. So I have zero take. Whoever we get is going to be the best though. So that's all I know.
All right, well, let me ask you something differently. Because for me, I think it's important, if possible, for it to be a former Arsenal player. Do you feel that way?
Ooh, now we can get into some juicy stuff. I would prefer it be someone that has no relationship to Mikel Arteta. That would be my preference, actually. I think the way things we've seen run in the past with Wenger, he kind of basically overtook everything. We went stagnant for quite a while. I could see the same thing happening with Arteta. He's a very strong figure, and I think is willing to get what he wants. Do some dark arts, if you will. But I actually would prefer if they don't have a relationship at this point, and he is strictly a sporting director. I'm doing what's best for the club mentality.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I'm okay with it being an Arsenal man. That's kind of my preference. But I hear you. I do think it's important for there to be some kind of separation of power at the top to make some of these decisions.
So when you say Arsenal man, do you have someone in mind?
The name I've seen float around, Thomas Rosicky, I'm actually totally down for it. I just think I think promoting Per might be a little too early for him. I like it. He's German. He knows what to do. He's done great with the academy. But on the sporting director side, I think Rosicky, since the name has been floated around, it just hits home for me because I think he's a baller. Like, he knows ball, you know? So I just think he can identify some really nice talent. Now, the management side of it, the corporate business aspect of it, I don't know anything about it and how he will do, but that's my preference right now. But honestly, I mean, whoever it is, I imagine they're not going to come in before the January window. I think whoever comes in will be in the summer. So that makes it a little too uncertain going into January about the business that we're going to get done. Hopefully there's one incoming. That's the least I can ask for.
That's fair enough. And did you say that City is going to be looking for one in the summer as well?
We are not looking for one because we already hired Hugo Viana. He's the sporting director. He and Amorim were a pretty deadly duo. So there was a rumor that Pep was going to be out after Viana was hired because he was going to hire Amorim this next season. And this would be Pep's last season. So, Chiqui's retiring at the end of the season. Viana will be in. No coaching change, though. That's lovely for me. Because Pep just signed a 1-year contract with another 12-month option following. So, looks like he's here to stay. I'm loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You're going to have to cut that.
Oh, is that like an infringement thing?
I don't know.
Maybe they appreciate it. I know they have a lot of problems going on with E. coli, so maybe they can take the little free advertising. I hope we don't get a cease and desist letter. This was just a joke, so it's just a friendly podcast. Let's reassess the summer business window, man. I mean, I think coming out of it, I was pretty excited about some of the weight that we had shed. Obviously, with all the injuries that came about and seeing some of the performances around the league, it did feel like, should we have kept a few of those players that we let go? Should we have done more to replace the players that we sold? I honestly think it's just been a series of unfortunate events. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be talking about it. I am disappointed that we didn't sign an attacker. I have to say that the signing of Raheem Sterling is now looking like silly business at this moment in time. Hopefully, he pulls through in the next 4 months and contributes to the team's success. But that Band-Aid approach was just not good enough. We're not in a Band-Aid phase. We need real good quality added to the squad.
The point to talk about the summer window is it doesn't feel good when you see Smith Rowe balling, Reece Nelson starting at Fulham, like balling, even Fabio Vieira is like starting Champions League games. And then you kind of look at our squad and you're correct. Series of unfortunate events. Absolutely. Would have a healthy Marino at the beginning of the season already integrated made a difference? Possibly. Like that could have made things a little bit smoother. But it is disappointing when the series does not go well. Players that you didn't use previously at all. So I remember in the summer, I was like, I'm happy to see him go. If you're not going to play him, let him go. Let him go play. We did let them go. Now they're playing and they're playing really well. And it's just like, in retrospect, like, well, why didn't we play these guys at all? Why didn't they get any minutes? That's kind of where I stand. Week in, week out, we have these. What is the manager thinking all the time? I don't know. He likes to ride or die with his 13 players, 12 players. Why can't we expand it to the 14, maybe 15 as a stretch? Instead of your 13th player being Kiwior, why can't it be a Smith Rowe, a difference maker? So, do I regret anything from the summer? I say no. But it is just a little bit disappointing when not 3, but 5, 6 injuries happen and you see the players that you let go are playing really well. It's like, ouch, that kind of hurts a little bit, huh?
Yeah, oddly enough, the only one that I would have preferred to stay is Reece Nelson.
Really?
Yeah, I really think that if he had stayed, he would have gotten some time out on the wing with the issues that we've had. I think I watch the problem with how things have worked out, Steven, and you say, like, should we have just kept them and played them? It's like, would they even play? I've been waiting for Ethan Nwaneri to get serious time, right? So would a Fabio Vieira have really made a difference? I don't know. The first couple of months that he went to Porto, he was injured himself, right? So it's a little tough, man. I think reflecting on it, it's maybe a little easy to say we should have kept a few of them, but they also deserve to play. Maybe they're performing now because they're playing week in and week out, and they weren't going to do that at Arsenal.
And that's the point I'm trying to make is we did not play these players. Like, we didn't play them. So I'm all for them leaving. Why not? If they're not going to play, why keep a 23-year-old on your bench if you're not going to play him? He has so much potential. He could be great. It's like, well, I don't know that because you don't play him. I'm glad they're getting to go play, but it's just interesting to me when you, like, Smith Rowe could, honestly, if Smith Rowe was playing for us week in, week out when Odegaard was out, I think he could have produced something for us. I really do. Does that necessarily mean I wanted to keep him? No, because he needed to get that preseason in. He needed to get that hunger back. I think that's part of the process for him, which is great, but it's just interesting. This dude's had a hard time getting on the field because of injuries. When he does come back he was probably healthy for like 9 months for us last season. Couldn't really get a sniff. And when he does get a sniff, it's like 10 minutes here and there. So maybe just going forward, maybe a new approach. Let's try to get some minutes. You're right with Nwaneri. It is weird when he comes on and he makes an impact, right? And fans are like frothing at the mouth. Get him some minutes. And he doesn't at all. It's kind of interesting. Those are questions I don't think we'll ever get answers to.
No, I agree with you. And I also think that this summer was kind of a big testament to how much our squad has improved and where we are as a club. That the players who have left, honestly, they are performing, but they kind of couldn't get into the squad. It shows the quality of the players that we already have. And I also think I think City have been in situations where they've had to let go of a few players that maybe later they thought, hey, would be nice to have him. I think Cole Palmer is a great example of something like that. What was your take on your summer business, Ron?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about when Steven, you were talking about that. Same thing with Palmer. Like, we knew he was a good player, we knew he was talented, but he was not getting in the squad or getting in the starting lineup week in and week out. And so, yes, I would love to have him back now. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, as they say. But ultimately, he wasn't getting in the squad consistently enough that he could probably show those talents and those gifts. It's one of those things where sometimes you need a move in order to really flourish. So shout out to Cole Palmer. He's doing really well. The window this last summer was okay. I was initially pretty happy with it. We had Savinho and Gundogan come in with a free transfer. Savinho was pretty cheap as well. And then we had Julian, Alvarez, Cancelo, Harvard Bellis, Sergio Gomez, and Tommy Doyle out. Ultimately, the only regret is that, again, we're without a true defensive midfielder. I thought that when Gundogan was signed, I was really excited about it just because he knew the system, he knew the squad. I saw him as someone that could play alongside Kovacic, maybe 10 matches out of the year, so that way Rodri didn't have to play. But again, hindsight 20/20, Rodri's ACL is done, so not a true defensive midfielder to have any cover for him. And that's tough. I mean, we've lost 4 games on the bounce. It's probably going to be 5, if I'm being honest. We have Tottenham on Saturday. I don't feel confident about that whatsoever. I never feel confident, even with Rodri, about playing Tottenham. But yeah, right now I don't think the squad's in a great space. Hopefully the manager extension will give the squad a bit of a bounce. I had no problem with our summer window, but now obviously going into January, you start thinking about, is a defensive midfielder necessary? Someone like Zubamendi has been floated. I know that Liverpool and Arsenal wanted to sign him during the summer. So I don't know. What about you guys for January?
You don't want Zubamendi, dude. That guy's, I don't know what's going on with his team. I don't know why he keeps getting floated around. I'm sure he'll perform if you get him, but you don't want him. Comes with too much baggage. For us, I think for the January window, my priority, it really is an attacker. I think we've signed good attackers in previous January windows. We've got an Aubameyang, we got Trossard in a January window. So I think if we can sign an attacker, it would be great. And I also don't feel like it has to be an attacker that is like a Gyökeres, 100 million signing in January. I think that's so tough. And I imagine he's like almost 2 cup tied now to make a difference for us in the Champions League. So I don't know if it makes sense to do that kind of business. I think if we can pick someone up who's a little older, maybe in that 26, 28 age, who's willing to be involved and make a push for a trophy at the end of the season, that would be great. Oddly enough, in January, I'm kind of on the train of, can we send Sterling back? Because I'm just not, I don't get what's happening here.
That's funny. The fact that we got him on the low is what it is. I figure the amount that we're paying him, it equalizes the production we're getting from him versus someone like Jesus, who's one of our top earners, and he is not giving us any production at all. That's an issue, right? And at least Raheem Sterling, we're going to send him back after this season. Jesus, I don't know how long his contract is, to be honest, how many years he has left. But that's an issue for me. When you're making the same amount, I'm sure he's probably around Kai. Kai is starting every week. Jesus is lucky if he gets on the field. Like, that's an issue. So if there's an out for me this in January, that's kind of an out for me. I agree with you. We have to bring in another player, another attacker, especially if he leaves. I've said the names before. I will say them again. I'm looking at that Brentford squad, man. I got 2 names, Mbeumo and Wissa. Either one of them. I would love to see them join. I think Brentford their home record's incredible. Their away record is terrible. So they sit right at the middle of the table. I think they're 11th right now. To me, that's a team that, like, hey, cash in on your player. Like, this would be a moment to, like, cash in because they're both getting a little bit older. I think Mbeumo might be like 25, but I don't see a lot of teams coming in, especially big teams coming in for those players. So cash in. This is your moment.
Yeah, I think both of those players would also bring some serious dog, right? Like, I love that. They are so dangerous. They're very good, but they also have some bite to them. Being in Brentford, underdogs type deal. I think either of them would be wonderful purchases. I think Mbeumo has like 10 league goals already or something like that. I saw. He's doing really well.
He's very dangerous. I think he's just one of those players that if he gets around the box, gets the ball, super dangerous. And then Wissa, like you just said, he's one of those guys I think just works his socks off endlessly. To me, that's it. Either one of those would be like that Trossard type. Come in, here are your expectations. Can you excel them? I don't know. Coming from a lower team, a mid-table team to Arsenal, you're proving yourself. To me, they could hit the ground running, to be honest, versus someone like we just said, Jesus. I don't know what he needs to get something, he needs to get a foot up his butt. Like, is he still hurt? I don't know. Is it a mental thing? He can't get over there's a block there. There is an issue with him, right? I mean, KP, I feel like we both have seen it. There is an issue there.
Is the issue with him? I don't know. Because he hasn't been getting appropriate amount of time. I feel like that. I feel like the last few games, the time he gets is like, if Saka doesn't get hurt, Jesus isn't getting on the field. So that's a bit of a problem for a player who was so important to us when he first signed. I also want to talk a little bit about the manager because I feel like he's too focused on playing mind games with the other team's manager than coming up with appropriate game plans, because this news or this like little snippet that they've taken out of Zinchenko's new book, have you seen it when he's saying how Arteta loves to play mind games and he asks even injured players to bring their wash bag and everything as if they're going to play and get off the bus with the team. These are things that are just like, it's cool, it's fun that we're playing this 4D chess, but can Jesus get a little bit more time? I think so. I really think so.
I didn't think we were going to talk about that. I mean, to me, that's like some elementary stuff. Like, it happens here in American sports all the time. They can make it a story if they want. I guarantee you every manager does that. Like, I can guarantee you that. It's not like huge mind games. If it's that tiny bit of advantage, you put a thought in, oh, Jesus might be playing today. Well, I guess for the last 4 weeks, he's been absolutely broken, so he probably isn't. But like that, to me, it's elementary in my opinion. I think it happens here all the time. Basketball, football, questionable all week, right? Doubtful on Monday, Tuesday, questionable Wednesday to Saturday, Sunday morning, 1:00. Dude is on the field and he's about to come out with 150 yards, 2 tugs.
I think that's fair, dude. I mean, I guess I'm struggling with the mind games that the manager's playing because I also don't know who's fit. Like, I kind of struggling with that, right? It's like, has Jesus not been playing the last 4 weeks and just been dressing because he's hurting and we're playing mind games? Or is Jesus fit to play? So that also kind of makes it a little difficult to assess the the substitutions and the game time management that goes into it. I will say, when you were talking about Brentford, I've heard that the Brentford sporting director is actually one of the top candidates that Arsenal are considering, and that sounds like good business to me.
I wouldn't mind that at all. That sounds like it'd be a decent pool. It is interesting to like think, should you get a big club, get one of their directors, or are you looking for someone from a club that's known for pulling younger players, unknown talents? To me, that's the direction you should go. At a club like Arsenal, we don't typically pull the huge names. I know you can throw out Declan Rice, but that's a little bit different, in my opinion. But like, we're known for developing players, pulling a player in. We're in such a phase of, we're back to the pretty Arsenal, in my opinion. Well, I guess we are kind of down and dirty, but like a prettier Arsenal, we control the ball, blah, blah, blah. I think getting some players in that are hungry, tenacious, that's where we need to head next. So that'd be cool. That'd be a good pool.
Yeah, if that's the only January signing we get, I think I'll be okay with it. Let's get into chatting December matches upcoming.
Do you have anybody for, is it Zubamendi? Is that your January? Wrong?
Yeah, I would say Zubamendi in. I don't think that we'll sign anyone, if I'm being true to myself. The only person that I would love to be sent away and maybe into the sun is Kyle Walker at this point. Because
don't do it to him.
I haven't wanted him gone for a bit of time now. I think I've said it on this pod specifically. There was a 2.5-minute clip of Brighton just attacking his side because he's not where he's supposed to be. And it was being floated on socials and stuff like that. I'm ready for him to go. Personal stuff aside, because he can't keep it in his pants and he keeps on getting in trouble. I want him out. He's not fast anymore. And I think he's not good enough or smart enough of a player to not be as fast as he was.
My man. All right.
Yeah, I actually totally forgot. Another thing that you've mentioned on the podcast before was your campaign for Rodri to get the Ballon d'Or. And it came home, didn't it?
It came home. Football won, as they say. Yeah, I'm really happy for Rodri. I think he absolutely deserved it. Really cool to see another midfielder. Obviously the only one since Modric wasn't terribly long ago, excuse me. So really nice to see him be appreciated because he's a killer of a player and, he's absolutely pivotal to our side. And that's very clear to see, for us losing 4 on the spin.
Yeah, congratulations. That's cool. Is that the first Ballon d'Or that a Manchester City player has won?
Yes, only Ballon d'Or winner for now.
Yeah, good for him. It sounds like he's starting to enter statue territory.
I don't know. I mean, he's only been here 4 years now, I want to say, maybe 5-ish. You got to be here like I'd say almost 10 years, or you have to be. I don't know. Yeah, I think he would need to be here 10 years in order to get a statue, but I mean, it's possible. Depends on how he comes back after his ACL.
What do we think? Does the campaign start today? Phil Foden, Ballon d'Or, 2025?
I don't know what's up with Phil this season, man. He has been struggling. You know, a lot of shade coming from this pod, I hear. You know, PFA Team of the Year or Player of the Year winner. Just because he's crap this season so far. Also, he's not actually been crap. He's been injured for most of the season. Still deserved to win it last season, so I'm still happy for him. Hopefully he bounces back after maybe a rough December.
You heard it here first. Campaign starts now.
All right, man. Well, I think with the international break coming to an end after today, actually, I think some of the South American teams are playing today, but the whole squad seems to be getting pretty fit from an Arsenal side. I think that, let me just give a shout out first to the ladies. Their next game will be on Thursday against Juventus. And then after that, they are off for 3 weeks or so, and they come back December 8th. For their league play. So best wishes to them. I hope their scoring run continues and Emily Fox continues to tear it up on the field. On the Arsenal side, like I said, I think the squad seems to be kind of fit. It seems like Calafiori's coming back. It does seem like Benny Blanco is the only one who is going to be out for a while. And maybe the best question, Steven, is does the absence of Benny Blanco mean that Jurrien Timber is our de facto right back for the next 8 weeks?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. To me, the plan, this was always the plan, which I do appreciate. There's no way they let Ben White go get this surgery if we did not have another solution mid-season like this. So I like that. He needs to get healthy. He's definitely not the same player he was. Absolute dog for doing what he did for us, though. In the meantime, has to be, to me, it's Calafiori Timber. Run it back, run it back, run it back, run it back. We've seen it a few times, and I actually really like the way it looked. I think both of us saw it. It had a good dynamic to it. To the end of the season, those are probably going to be the two hot and heavy starters on the outside back. Hopefully Tomiyasu's fit, can fill in at times. I imagine Kibior is probably going to be getting some minutes. I wouldn't mind a Lewis Skelly appearance here and there. Honestly, I wouldn't mind it. But I would say those are probably the four players I would expect to be playing outside back. But I mean, back to you. Do you think Calafiori Timber can get us there?
It's actually kind of crazy that you didn't mention Zinchenko at all.
Hey, I only mentioned the players that I've seen hit the field, and I don't see Zinchenko hitting the field. To me, he has dropped in the depth chart.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts at the weekend, honestly. Just because I don't know about Calafiori's status. I don't think Kiwior will play left back. It seems like if he gets time, it's going to be at the center back position. Tommy is obviously Tommy. Everyone knows that story this season. And I can't see Luis Skelly getting a start in the Premier League, at least. So I think maybe Zinchenko starts at the weekend if Calafiori is 100%. Yeah, I do feel like Calafiori is probably the number one left back choice that we have with Timber now having to play outside back. In the middle, it's going to be interesting to see what's Declan Rice's status after these couple of weeks. I don't know how quickly a broken toe heals, but I think when something's broken, it's going to take it a couple of months, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure broken toes, like, it is what it is. You can play on it. There's nothing you can really do except give it time to heal. As someone that's broken their toe before. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not a professional athlete. Don't get me wrong. Not a professional athlete, but I assume that he'll be all right. I mean, he was willing to go to England anyways, right? I think he kind of pulled out last minute. He'll be playing. I don't doubt that at all. Zinchenko did score for Ukraine. Yeah, obviously he's playing center mid. When you mention Zinchenko, it's interesting. So we started the season with him, I believe. Haven't seen him since September, probably. I think he came on one of the cup games for a few minutes. But let's say Marino, Odegaard, Declan Rice is the 6. I could see him playing left back just to help him out as far as progression goes. So it'll be interesting to see if Ben White is our only person out, as you're saying. There is a lot of options to be used, a lot of different configurations that could be made. I think we've said it, we'll say it again. Time to earn your money, right? Arteta, like, this is it. You got your boys. Show us what you got working. You probably had plans for this season. Those plans went out the window for the first 4 months. Now we're back on track. Let's see. Put your money where your mouth is, man.
Yeah, I think it's all fair. I would just also say that in this upcoming period, we're likely to play a lot more opponents who are comfortable in a low block. And I think maybe Zinchenko will help break through those lines. So maybe that also gives him an edge to get some time. But I totally hear you. I think we're going to continue to see the same front three for as long as possible, I imagine. Unless someone decides it's time to give the left wing another look. So we obviously play Nottingham Forest at the weekend. Ron, you said that Manchester City are playing Tottenham, and you're kind of nervous about it. Is your game home or away?
I want to say it's home, but I am not quite sure on that. Let me check really quick. Let's see. Yeah, it is at home. If it was away, it'd be 100% a loss. Like I'm not even expecting anything out of the game. Being at home, maybe it's a little bit better. Tottenham has been just okay this season, it looks like. They have a lot of ups and downs. I'm not looking forward to Saturday's match. I think that it potentially may be a pretty rough way to start my Saturday.
Yeah, it looks like you got the match of the day at 12:30 Eastern here. And I know Arsenal play Saturday as well at 10 a.m. Eastern. So let's see how it goes. I do feel like Nottingham Forest have had a pretty good season so far. They've posed some challenges to other teams. And this upcoming run to finish November, it's Nottingham Forest at home. Then I think we go away to Portugal to play Sporting, a match I'm really looking forward to midweek next week. And then after that, we play West Ham to finish out the month. So 3 big games for Arsenal to really set the tone, I think, for what's to come in December. We've been talking about this for a while on the pod, that we need to go on a big run. And it all starts on Saturday. I'm pretty confident in saying that we will win on Saturday against Nottingham Forest. And I'll even dare to say we will shut them out. I think it's time to get a shutout at the Emirates.
Woof. So it's a home game. All right. I would almost dare to say, like, that Nottingham Forest game, as early as it is, you could put it borderline must win. We've already fallen 9 points behind the leaders. I think the Forest are in the hunt. I would consider them top 4 hunt right now. Like, this is a very big game. The expectations is Forest are potentially a team that can take points from some of the other top 6 squads. Let's get the home win for sure. You gotta win your home games, right? Said it before. Gotta win your home games. So if that's the start of the run, beating a good Forest team to then progress into West Ham, someone that's kind of been a boogeyman a little bit too. I think both of those could be crucial going into December. If you have Tottenham going to City, you have Tottenham. I got to ask you about Liverpool, man. December 1st, you got the boys in red, Liverpool. I've said here, not a huge believer in them. I just don't see, and that's particularly from watching us play them. I just didn't see like them being that quality. They're a good team. I'm not going to say they're not. I believe they have the best forwards in the league, but just watching them, I don't know. They're just like missing something to me to be like, they're not going to win the Champions League. I will say that. Going into that game, how do you feel about them, Ron? Do you a little scared of the men in red or what?
Well, it will be at Anfield December 1, so I think that'll be a pretty major test for our squad. I think when we play Liverpool, there's so much chaos, right? And we are not used to playing chaotically unless it's against Liverpool. And that's the core of what we're missing in our squad right now, is the ability to calm things down. That's what Rodri was for us, right? The metronome of our team, just constantly recycling possession, doing his best to spread the ball around, keeping calm under pressure, that sort of thing. I worry about the chaos that Anfield brings and the chaos that the Liverpool squad brings. I think that's a little bit less chaotic, perhaps, with Slot versus with Klopp. But at the same time, being at Anfield, knowing that the atmosphere is going to be what it is, I'm not feeling super confident about the City squad right now against any big team until we put out a lineup that convinces me that we can control the game for 90 minutes. Because even against Brighton, we were winning until like 68th or 70th minute. And then once they scored, I knew once they equalized, we were going to lose that game. Like that, I had no doubt about it in my mind. So I think we're a team that really needs to rely on its goals, and our defense has been leaking. I think mostly because the defensive midfielder that we love is not there. I have a feeling that Liverpool will be a really rough match for us, especially at Anfield. I'm also convinced by Liverpool. I think that they are going to go far. Unless one of their players get injured, which I'm not hoping for, of course. I feel like they're going to go a really long way because they're not playing as they're playing much more cautiously, I would say, under Slot than under Klopp. Klopp was balls to the wall. They're doing their thing, blitzkrieg type thing. I think Slot is a little bit more measured in how they attack, and they're not taking as many risks under him.
I'm not a believer yet. I do think they're really good. I do think they're really good. They have a better chance in the league than, like, say, a Champions League. I think bar for bar, they're not like a top European team. Their front line is just really good, and then Van Dijk and Konate. I mean, that's as solid as they come. I watched the Villa game, and they scored those 2 goals off of corner kicks, and I just can't for the life of me understand. We've seen Liverpool play for the past 7-8 years being that team. How you gonna leave Tielemans as your deepest player, put in a terrible ball, Liverpool win it? It's like one pass, and it's them and the keeper. Like, what are we doing? So to me, it's like, what, who Liverpool are, and you play right into their hands. It doesn't make any sense to me. But again, if they have front line, they got goal scorers, so that's fair enough.
Yeah, but Unai Emery is better than Mikel Arteta, Steven. Don't say stuff like that, okay? The fan base is gonna go a little berserk.
Villa was a team, like, to me, that they could go bar for bar with Liverpool. They're very physical runners. To me, that was a great matchup. It makes sense. And then you see the way they get scored on. It's like you just put out 90 minutes, and there's probably 30 seconds of that game where you guys just absolutely fell on your face, rolled on your back. That made no sense to me. But hey, gonna make me eat my words, man. They're gonna make me eat my words. I hope not, because we're gonna have a big January, KP. We're going on a run, baby.
We need at least 2 Liverpool draws in December, I think. Hopefully the City match is one of them. Hopefully they get another one. It's kind of hard to see them losing. I'll be honest with you, but a loss and 2 draws in the next 2 months, and we just keep on winning. I feel pretty good. That's my hope. So I think, since in the interest of time, obviously it's very early Wednesday morning, got to go to work. So maybe we can close out the episode with a little game of Mystery Man. As the listeners know, we love playing Mystery Man during international break. So did you guys bring anyone?
Yeah, I got one.
I do.
Who wants to get us started?
I will, but I need to grab my notes real quick. Grab my phone. All right. We're back. Mystery Man, round 1. Here we go. So my player, he is 32 years old. He's playing for Lyon currently, but he's only played 5 matches. This player, go ahead.
Is it Lacazette?
No. This player is the streets remember type of guy. He's English and Ivorian, but he now officially plays for the Ivory Coast. He spent most of his career in England, but I would say he's a player that never really made it to the big time. He was always looking for that one transfer, and he never got it.
Is it Zaha?
It is Wilfred Zaha.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was there.
Yeah, me neither. Only 5 games. I think Lacazette, I was looking it up, he's played 14, so he's really not getting on the field. And Zaha, he did have that stint at United. 2 appearances for him. That is it. Just the 2 appearances. So, Crystal Palace legend.
That's when he was a pup too, right?
Yeah, that was early on.
That's kind of sad, honestly. There was a period of time where I would have loved him at Arsenal. I really would have. But that's football.
All right. I got one. My mystery man has featured for 2 Premier League sides, Manchester United and Everton. He has 121 caps for his country.
Okay. I got to guess. You want to wait, KP?
No,
you want to hear a little more?
No, I didn't even hear the first part of the question, so you go for it.
Fellaini.
Nope. No.
Ooh. Okay.
He's PFA Team of the Year in 03 and 04, or 03-04 season. He's the only American to do so.
Oh, it's Timmy.
Timmy Howard.
Yeah. Dang, got me. I guess Fellaini, maybe he hasn't had 121 appearances. That was a stretch.
Yeah, true, for Belgium.
Appearances. Yeah.
Oh, for his country. I was gonna say he played a lot actually for a club. Good one, Ron. These have been a little tough today. Mine's pretty easy, so we can just end on a happy note. This player was a professional footballer and a captain at some point in his career for his national team. He played for Sparta Prague, Borussia Dortmund, and Arsenal. He was a midfielder. And personally, I remember him for a beautiful goal in the North London derby against Hugo Lloris.
Hugo. This is Little Mozart.
Little Mozart. Yes, dude.
So he is the sporting director at Prague right now, I believe, right?
Yes. Thomas Rosicky.
The man.
Let's see how it goes. I'm hoping at least 1 or 2 listeners got that one, if not the other ones. So thanks for playing along. Thanks for listening. As always, welcome back, Ron. It was nice to have you. And here we go. Here comes the run. Everybody, this is your chance to get on the train. Choo choo.
Any last words, Ron?
Thank you for having me as always. Love being here. Phil Foden. Ballon d'Or.
Be easy.